Hey, it's Dr. K, and this is the truth about mental illness. Welcome back, everyone, to the greatest mental health and wellness journey of our lifetime. Listen, today I'm going to do what's called a run it back. What do I mean by that? I posted a video a few months ago sharing about the PHQ, that is the Patient Health Questionnaire, and this is a tool that helps give us language to our emotions. Emotions are very real. They can be a lot sometimes. They can seem really confusing or foreign, or we can just be feeling some kind of way every single day for days on end, for weeks on end. And those things may be foreign to us. It's not quote unquote normal for us to feel that way. It could be us reacting to our environment. It could be us reacting to other people who are also emotional beings. And so I am going to run back this really cool tool of the Patient Health Questionnaire just to give you a reminder of language that it takes for you to go in and see a provider and tell them how you're feeling emotionally. And then also be open. If you've been feeling this way for so long and you desire not to anymore, I encourage you to be open to just listening to a conversation about how medication could potentially be something that you may be interested in, or even to give a try. So one thing I'll also just add to this is that you are the change agent. You are the expert on your own life, nobody else. When I go into counseling, I go in nowadays talking about myself, how I react to my environment, and I just do not make it about other people because if you know me personally, then you know I am a lot when I walk into a room. And I know that about myself, and I am not shy about it in any way. So I hope this upcoming video does you good. See you soon. Hey, it's Dr. K, and this is the truth about mental illness. Hello, and welcome back to the greatest mental health and wellness journey of our lifetime. If you're new to this platform, please go back and check out some of the other videos that you can catch up. But this space is created to affirm and empower persons like myself who suffer from mental illness. So today, I'm just going to go through some things that I want to follow up on. I talked a little bit about how me going to my primary care physician was the catalyst to me getting the help that I needed for my brain disorders, for my mental illnesses. And I'm going to tell you a quick story about how that happened. So y'all remember back in the day when you could go to your primary care physician for your annual physical and, you know, they kind of checked the boxes, if you will, on your overall physical health. And if you needed medication, they provided you, a prescription for that and so on and so forth, right? Y'all remember those days? Yep, I remember those days. I'm not going to date myself because we just met, okay? But I also remember the first time that I went to my annual physical exam, and I checked in and they gave me a tablet. They said, update your information if it needs to be updated in any of these places. Also, there's 2 questionnaires on there that we need you to fill out. I was like, cool. Sat down in the lobby, got the little tablet they gave me, started going through my demographic information, insurance information, all that stuff. And then I saw that I was getting ready to take a depression survey. I said, are you serious? A depression survey with a questionnaire? Is my provider about to ask me about my mental health? Now, at this time, I had only been diagnosed with one mental illness, but I was impressed that this was a part of the intake process for my provider who I'd already seen, for several years. But this was now an embedded practice. So the clinician in me just got overly excited. Okay. So the first questionnaire that I did is called the PHQ, and that stands for the Patient Health Questionnaire. And the second one that came up was the Generalized Anxiety Disorder Questionnaire. We also call that GAD. So what I want to talk to you about today are some of the symptoms or the statements that are on these questionnaires so that it can help promote the language that you get to use when you go see your primary care physician, if that's who you choose to reach out to be, like it was for me, the catalyst to me getting the help that I needed. So maybe that's the same for you. I don't know. I'm just sharing it because I thought it was awesome and it did help me. Okay, so let's look at the PHQ, Patient Health Questionnaire. You can Google this, you all. Pick any version of it that you want. Try, not to pick the one with just 2 questions. Maybe pick the one that has a little bit more content. So the one that I'm using is called the PHQ 9. There's 9 questions, but then there's 1 statement at the bottom. Okay, so let me just pop through these real quick. So the first one, they're phrased as statements, but I'm going to probably phrase them, as questions. And then know that every time I make a statement or, pose a question from this particular questionnaire, that you will have to identify when you fill it out the frequency by which you feel this way. Okay, for each one of these symptoms, how often are you feeling this way? Not at all, several days, more than half the days, or nearly every day. Okay, this helps your provider know a little bit more about, how severe your symptoms are. All right, so the first one, little interest or pleasure in doing things. Feeling down, depressed, or hopeless is number 2. The third one, trouble falling or staying asleep, or sleeping too much. Feeling tired or having little energy, so feeling real sluggish. Poor appetite or overeating. Let me just pause right here on poor appetite. This is the truth about mental illness. Let me tell y'all the truth. So in the last, I'll say year for sure, my appetite has been, I'm going to just say, almost non-existent, worse than poor. Why? Because life is lifing. And on top of life lifing, I'm processing my life lifing through these brain disorders. So the last thing on my mind is food and eating. So I know that I have been recognized as basically whittling away. My own mother saw a picture of me and called me like, now what, what's going on, baby? You're getting a little. I'm just like, my life is life and everything that's going on. And she's like, just go to the grocery store, and just buy some groceries and then come home and cook something. Don't you like to cook? I love to cook, but my life is life and I got these brain disorders. I don't feel like eating or cooking nothing. I kid you not, y'all. My mother sent me a text message with an entire grocery list. And it was absolutely adorable because next to every food item, she had like the little emoji to represent the food item. So it would be grapes, and then she would have a bunch of grapes. Carrots, and then she would put a carrot. I'm laughing because it's so cute. It was so cute, y'all, and it was effective. This is what I'm saying. Affirm and empower. This is the empowerment part, right? So she gives me this list, and I promise you, I copied that list. I put it into my phone as an actual grocery list on the notebook in my phone. And I went to the grocery store and I stood there with my basket in the produce section. And I was like, I don't have a taste for anything. So I looked at my phone and I saw my mother's grocery list and I just started picking out things that I feel like, okay, if this is in my house, I feel like I would reach for it and I would eat it. Okay. So I did that all the way through the grocery store, picking up different things that were on the list that I felt like I could eat before they get spoiled. All right. Second thing that happened to me is one of my really good friends is good for this. She'll send me a text message in the middle of a, random day during the week, couple times a week sometimes, and say, oh, I just had this really good Mediterranean bowl for lunch. Oh my gosh, it was delicious. What'd you eat? And I'll be like, I have not. So I'm willing to admit to you all, poor appetite. Now, one thing I do know is that sustenance is important. So I do have other ways that I supplement if I realize that I've not eaten or I'm not eating as much as I should. So it's getting better, but I just felt like this is a place for me to be honest. So I'm telling y'all the truth. If you're out there and you understand me, please, put a comment, do a like, repost, share, whatever you feel like is necessary, because this is me. And I hope and I know, truly, I know I'm not the only one that thinks like that. All right. So coming off of poor appetite or overeating, have you been having thoughts about feeling bad about yourself or that you're a failure to other people or people in your family even? Are you having difficulty concentrating? On here, it talks about reading the newspaper, but maybe reading an article online, or difficulty concentrating if you're watching TV even. So maybe you really plan, oh my gosh, I can't wait to watch this TV show. And then you get settled and you sit down to watch it. And after, I don't know, amount of time, you realize, wait a minute, I'm not even paying attention to this show that I've been anticipating. So difficulty concentrating, moving or speaking slowly, so much so that other people recognize it, or being like really fidgety, if you will, and not being able to sit still. And then lastly on here, number 9, thoughts that you would be better off dead, or thoughts about hurting yourself. Okay. And then number 10 kind of just seals all this up and really talks about based on everything that you have outlined here, that you have either checked, yes, I feel this way, this amount of time, by this frequency, this last question really asks if any of these problems have made it more difficult, if you will, for you to engage in your life at home with your family, in your life in relationships, in your work life, in your school life. That's the last statement on here. And I like this questionnaire online too, because guess what it also does? It tells you how to score your answers so that you know for a fact, based on this tool, whether or not you fall into one level of severity or not when it comes to depression. So if you want to do this at home, please take it to a provider. Please do not try to interpret this tool on your own. Please take it to your physician or a counselor. Even if you already have one, life's, like I said, you may feel fine one day, you may feel different, for weeks at a time, and you may pick this up and do it and go into your next counseling appointment and say, you know what, I feel like I have something to talk about today regarding depression. And this is how I feel. I filled this out and this is what the results were. Okay, so if you fill this out, make sure you take it to a provider. The second one, generalized anxiety disorder. So this one, again, phrased in the same way, statements and frequency. How often have you been feeling the way that this statement is calling out? These statements are connected to symptoms, all right? Have you been feeling nervous, anxious, or on edge? Not being able to stop or control the worry that's happening. Worrying too much about different things. Trouble relaxing. Being so restless that it's really actually hard to sit still. Becoming easily annoyed or irritable. So some of these cross over into the area of depression as well. And then feeling afraid as if something awful might happen. You can't even put your finger on it. You're just terrified that something, awful or horrible is going to happen. And then last but not least, similar to the patient health questionnaire about depression, this one seals it up and also talks about how these symptoms have been impacting all the different areas of your life, from relationships to work to school, so on and so forth. Okay, so this is another tool that you can use, and you can take this into your primary care physician or your counselor. Make sure to share your responses with a licensed provider so that you can get some really good guidance on what the next steps, might look like for you. So I'm sharing this because this is something that was a catalyst to me feeling comfortable and actually sharing with my primary care physician how I was feeling when I actually needed it. So like I said before, the first time I saw these tools at check-in, I had one diagnosed mental illness. It wasn't until years later that I went in for a check-in because I didn't like how I was feeling in my body. And I got to these questionnaires in the lobby again, and I was like, ooh, I got something for these this time. And so that was the catalyst for me. So I filled these out, and my physician and I, we went in depth over these particular responses that I had, and just more and more on from there. So I'll keep rolling things out as we move forward. But today I just wanted to share that these are 2 easy ways that you can just review this online. You can also pick, you can pull it up on your phone while you're in the lobby, or pull it up on your phone wherever you are throughout the day. If you have a scheduled physical exam coming up, guess what? Bring this to your exam. That's what this moment is for as well. So if your physician has not already asked these questions as part of your regular check-in, make sure to bring this with you, either on your phone or print it out like I have it, so that you have some language to give in the conversation about how you feel. This is really important to making sure that you get the services that you need so that you can begin to feel better and have an overall better quality of life. So that's all I have for today. Please continue to stay tuned. You never know, and I'm just going to pop in here and share something affirming or empowering for you to listen to. But until then, keep following me on all the social media platforms. I'm excited to be on this journey with you. And that's it. Unto the nations.